Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday podcast. Hope you are all doing well. Hope your week has been good to you. It's been a rodeo for me. Not all bad, but it's definitely been a rodeo. I hope y'all are doing well. I'm gonna come in hot with the news pretty fast this week and burn on out because I'm gonna go to the doctor and then pack up for a con. Um, and head on out. So I hope your day is good. If you are watching live on Facebook, you can also listen to us on our podcast later. If you're watching it on TikTok, you can join us on our Facebook live over at Faith and Fandom. I do want to apologize for last week's audio not making it to the podcast or not making it to YouTube. Um, they I had severe technical issues last week with Zoom recording, and it shut down on me multiple times. And the process of like converting it just did not go the way I wanted. So that did not happen as planned. So last week's episode is just currently on Facebook. If you did care to listen to it, it may not get converted, but if it doesn't, it'll be okay. But thank y'all for joining with us, and we'll just jump right in on the news. First off, Zendaya has officially hit a milestone in her career. She is now the highest grossing actress of 2026, which is not surprising. Just with her two films, Spider-Man Brand New Day and The Odyssey, already approaching $2 billion for the year. But that does not factor in the fact that she is in uh, Dune Part 3, which will likely only further cement that status of just over the top box office for the year. So Zendaya is on her way to becoming a chart topping artist for the year in terms of acting. On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Joe Dirt, the silly movie from whatever decade that was from, let's say 2000s, um, is getting an animated series. So if you needed more Joe Dirt in your life, Joe Dirt is getting an animated series. This past weekend was SummerSlam for the WWE. And with SummerSlam, we saw the return of Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens has been out for a foreseeable time with a neck injury and surgery. His neck surgery and injury is actually kind of very similar to mine. And seeing Kevin Owens return to a place that he can wrestle is honestly personally encouraging to me. Because if Kevin Owens can go from being where he was to actually wrestling again with that same type of neck injury, I my life might not be over. So that's nice. Uh, Other notable moments for the SummerSlam event were Chelsea Green winning the interim's women's title, as well as Roman Reigns retaining his title uh, against Seth Rollins, and some other stuff happened, but those were the biggies for me. Let's see what else we have in our news for the day. Jared, good morning, brother. The first deaths have been reported in conjunction with the Cyclospiralis bacteria, the diarrhea virus bacteria. In Michigan, two fatalities have been reported. Um, just from which are uncommon because the disease is not necessarily life-threatening. Um, but the outbreak from shredded lettuce from Taylor Farms has now officially claimed two people's lives from either the direct result or the complications that came from it. Uh, Viagra, or tadalafil as its medical name, I believe, uh, has officially been now shown through a new study to help stop the spread of cancer. So if you are using Viagra on a regular basis, it can help prevent cancer spreading throughout your body. It also advertises the fact that it can help with your blood pressure and other things like that. But, you know, it's usually not what people are there for. SpaceX officially has ascended to the rank of um, uncautious supervillain this week as a discarded SpaceX rocket crashed into the moon. Yes, you heard that. A discarded SpaceX rocket crashed into the moon. It went off course. It was drifting, and for more than a year, it was drifting through space, and it crashed into the moon, leaving a crater. Um, it traveled around. It was traveling at around 5,400 miles per hour, and the impact expected to blast a crater in the lunar surface, not as big as it was expected, but it still did knock a hole in the moon. So that's not great. Athens, Greece, is burning in wildfires, um, and has been a significant cause of damage in that region. Uh, Firefighters are fighting the problem and are expecting to have it dealt with, but Athens has been on fire. An official documentary about the Gilmore Girls is coming to HBO Max with never before seen footage and the original cast returning to be part of the storytelling. Uh, if you've seen the Young Rock show, or if you've seen clips on TikTok or whatever of the Young Rock, the actor who was playing adult Dwayne Johnson, Uli Latukefu, will now officially be playing Ganondorf in the Legend of Zelda movie. So the young man who was playing the adult version of Dwayne Johnson will be playing Ganondorf in the Legend of Zelda movie. So honestly, it's not bad casting at all. Like, I can rock with that. Dude is got the look, he's got the size, he can pull that off pretty easily. Uh there are now 17 country songs in the world that have hit 1 billion streams on Spotify. And Wagon Wheel from Darius Rucker has officially become the 17th song to hit 1 billion streams of country music. The other 16 include Fast Car from Luke Combs, Body Like a Back Road, Beautiful Crazy, Love Story, some of these I don't know, Tennessee Whiskey, Meant to Be. But yeah, Darius Rucker has now joined the Billion Country Club. Kit Connor, young man, has officially been cast as the MCU's future Cyclops. We are going to see James Marsden as Cyclops in Avengers Doomsday, but moving forward with a younger crew of Avengers. And I'm avoiding saying more details on that because of spoilers. Um, but moving forward with a younger crew of Avengers, Kit Connor will be playing our young Cyclops moving forward in the MCU. Uh, Social media personality and social media reporter Perez Hilton uh, had a breakdown earlier this week and began self-harming himself while on a TikTok live stream. Um, he has been hospitalized and stabilized since then and has spoken out, but that's still a rough thing to see live. And I know videos of that were getting shuffled and shared, but it was pretty ugly to see. And I'm praying for his health and mental health. The comic book Dead Man from DC Comics has now been extended to 12 issues, as it was originally going to be a six-issue story. It'll be now be a 12-issue story. Hi, is that Elia? Hi, Elia. I'm saying that right. Sorry. Um, a Democratic congressional candidate in Hawaii um got beat up after getting in a fight with a dude on a beach in Maui. Um, a 60-year-old man asked the 40-year-old man, the candidate, to turn down his music, and um Basson, who is the Kirill Bazin, I'm saying his name right, Kirill Bazin, is the Democratic congressman, then threatened that he had a firearm and that he would shoot the man and his wife before he got knocked in the face twice. He also tried to throw chairs, but the dude was drunk and it turned into a situation. Well, I'm good, just doing a little news before kickstart the weekend. Gen Con happened in Philadelphia this past weekend. It is traditionally a board game con, and it set attendance records this past week with $83.5 million for local businesses. Love Thy Nerd was there doing ministry as part of Gen Con. I know a lot of people are involved in it. Also, uh, a tornado hit Gen Con earlier this week, and in that process, flooded the show floor with rain. So, pretty horrible event to be at a con when a tornado hits and the floor gets flooded with rain. This still is better than the one show that happened last year where the septic lines bust in the ceiling. Um, so I'll take rainwater over poop water. Um, Off the coast of Greenland this week, a massive iceberg did a complete rollover. It was kind of a terrifying sight to watch as this iceberg literally uprooted and flipped completely over, causing giant waves to hit the Greenland coast. But to my what I've seen, no one has been harmed. The Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 ruling that police pulling your phone's location is considered a search, which puts every flock camera in the country on notice that, it can't search for you without having a legal search. Um, Film producer has sued Netflix for $105 million after the company lost an encrypted copy of a World War II movie they filmed called Fortitude, starring Nicolas Cage and Ben Kingsley. Um, Simon Afram, a Swiss businessman, wrote the script and spent 7 years and $45 million bringing it to the screen, and according to the lawsuit, and Netflix lost a finished copy of it, and it's getting leaked, and so he's suing for it. Spider-Man Brand New Day officially opened to the biggest box office. Good morning, Kelly. Spider-Man Brand New Day officially opened to the biggest box office in U.S. history for domestic. It actually topped Avengers Endgame, and yeah, and it's still continuing. So Spider-Man Brand New Day was hitting, and it did a great job. So congratulations to everybody involved with that, and for doing it without two other Spider-Men. LinkedIn has added a button that you can now report posts and things as AI slop. So if you see someone posting stuff on LinkedIn that's just AI generated, you can actually hit an AI slop button, which will kind of take their stuff down. The late Sam Neill who was, the main character in the original Jurassic Park and Event Horizon and things of that nature, will appear in his final performance in the Legend of Zelda movie. He had already filmed his portions of the Legend of Zelda movie before he passed. Um, and so, Tristan, good morning, dude. You will get to see Sam Neill for one more time and potentially the last time in the upcoming Legend of Zelda movie. Three first print copies of Pokemon Red, Yellow, and Blue sold this week for $2 million. Uh, which, just kind of setting the standard that it's good to hold on to physical media. Um, Also, Gareth Edwards has exited the Jurassic World franchise. He was supposed to do Jurassic World Rebirth sequel, but he has left, citing creative differences. Connor, thank you for the likes. Um, yeah. Tom Holland and Zendaya uh, had a 500,000 euro wedding celebration at Beaverbrook Hotel in England this past week and kept it secret by hiring out an entire venue and banning phones. Um, Tom Holland couldn't keep any of his Marvel stuff a secret, but he managed to keep getting married a secret. So I guess that's the win. But congratulations to them. Meta is investigating its own AI and software after last week their AI hacked another company's system during testing. Now, if that sounds similar to a story from last week, it is similar, but it's not the same story. That means OpenAI had their AI attack someone else last week, and Meta also had their AI attack someone else last week without their consent, instruction, or direction. So last week, two of the biggest companies in the world, their AI went rogue and attacked other companies without provocation. So this is Terminator. We aren't listening. Um, More than 100 people have been sickened by a potentially deadly bacterial infection from eating jalapenos at Chipotle. Health officials in Minnesota have identified 110 cases of salmonella tied to the Mexican style fast food chain. Investigators believe that contaminated jalapenos are the likely source of the outbreak. Interviews with 84 patients found that 90% of them had eaten jalapenos at Chipotle restaurants before becoming ill. So, A, if you're in Minnesota, B, if you're eating Chipotle, and C, if you've eaten jalapenos, watch your back, literally. I can't imagine a lot of Minnesotans eating Chipotle, though, but I guess at least 100 of y'all did. Guatemala has officially declared a red alert as a volcano has erupted, forcing 1,600 residents to evacuate, um, which is obviously terrible. I'm gonna double check and make sure I didn't miss anything. And the thing I didn't have um, a ton. First Timothy 2:11 through 13. I'll look those up in a minute. We're about to read some scripture on here in a second too. But I'll double check, make sure that's all of our news. I still think SpaceX accidentally hitting the moon with a rocket is my top story for the week. I think that is just bananas. Oh wait, hold on, there was more. Um, Carson Looters is bringing a musical about the band Petra to life for a new generation in a film called Beyond Belief. Petra was a Christian rock band in the 70s and 80s. And they're having a movie based on them coming out soon. uh, the Senate committee has officially voted to hold Anthony Fauci in contempt of Congress for not answering questions when before Congress the other day. Uh, Forrest Frank's tour pastor has reported that 50,000 students have accepted Christ across the tour that they're currently on, which is huge. Um, a Suspect has been arrested and charged with the death of 38-year-old missionary Elizabeth Jane Ross, who was killed in Athens, Greece. She was a Christian aid worker from Scotland and was found inside a suitcase after she was reported missing. She was working with City on a Hill Church, and was considered a precious person. But yes, that's horrible. And the suspect has officially been arrested for her murder. Um, on Sunset Boulevard in uh, California, Netflix has officially put a dude inside a billboard and made a make-up living room inside the billboard for the new sci-fi thriller The Last House. So you can literally see the guy just sitting in a window in the billboard watching people. Kiki Palmer will be set to replace Carson Daly as the host for The Voice for season 31. That's interesting. Soccer star slash football star um, David Owari was beaten to death by robbers in the country's capital of Kampala. And that's terrible. Disney will now begin featuring user-made content from TikTok um, with Disney Plus. So there will be a TikTok branch coming to Disney Plus, which is, I don't know how that's going to work, but it's whatever. Japanese officials have officially asked the US government to stop posting game and anime memes. Not that the US alone stopped posting game and anime memes, but the US government stopped posting game and anime memes. I'm like, listen, the day we crack down on memes is just the day that I'm done because it's half of my expression. A lot of shows are dropping this week in the weeks to come. Star Wars Visions presents The Ninth Jedi has officially dropped. Ted Lasso season 4 has dropped its first episode. Um, Reacher season 4 will drop August 12th. Lanterns will drop August 16th. Yeah, so just be on the lookout for those. Jim Carrey will officially be starring in a live action version of The Jetsons from Warner Brothers. And I think that covers all of our news now. Yep. All right, so we're going to take a moment and we're going to roll some dice and see what scripture we're reading for the day. Oh, we have a rock, paper, scissors dice. So we are going to use rock as the Old Testament, scissors as the New Testament, and paper as the whole Bible. So let's see what we're rolling. Uh, fist is Old Testament. All right, so we just need two D20s for that. Hmm. We got this guy and this guy. So we're gonna roll two D20s and subtract one, and that will give us what we're reading out of the Old Testament. 17 and 3. And we're going to subtract one, which means we're going to be reading out of the 19th book of the Old Testament. So let's see what that is. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just totally math wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, we're in Psalms. Dope. Psalms is huge. Holy crap, that's going to take a lot to realize how many songs we're reading. Okay, Psalms has like 150, 30. Let's see what we land on with that. Holy cow, it's going to take a lot to do this. All right. No, there is no telling. All right, we got 148 Psalms. Let's math, y'all. Okay. So for 148 Psalms, we're going to need eight D20s, I think. It's one, two, three, four, five, no, five, six, seven, eight. So that gives us a total potential number of 160, right? Yeah. So that gives us a total potential number of 160. And then we will subtract 7 to see what number we're at. We'll subtract 7 because we subtract 1 for each dice to try to be able to land on Psalm 1 if we needed to. Oh, there's going to be so much math here. Here we go. And my phone's recording. All right. So we're rolling to see which of the song we're reading today. Got a 8 D20s. Here we go. So we're gonna take whatever this number is and subtract 7. That'll be the song we read. All right, we've got 4. We got 7. We got 14, 5, 15, 12, 4, and 4. We rolled 3 fours out of that, which is pretty. There's no real win for that, but hey, we did it. All right, so that's 11 plus 14 is 25. That's 30. That's 30. That's 45. That's 57. That's 61. And that is 65 minus 7. So 65 minus 7 would be 58. Yes. All right. So that's 58. So we are going to be reading in Psalms 58. If all of my math just math properly, who knows? Counting on y'all to tell me if I math bad. Oh, of course, it's something like that. All right, let's get our little stuff together. I'm going to mark what we're reading in the Clever Foxes journal. It's a good way of just tracking your scripture that you're reading. They've got like a little chart for it. That's a solid Bible journal on its own. So we're going to go to Psalm 58. This is officially the first time we've done Psalms on the news podcast. So, first time that's gotten marked. Then we're going to switch over to the Faith and Fandom devotional journal. and use that for the actual breakdown of this. Y'all, we've officially done the entire uh Bible study section of this journal. Um, that's kind of crazy. So I don't want to use another one. All right, so 7 is the date. We're going to be in Psalm 58. So let's read this and break it down. All right. Maybe I got a highlighter up in here. I went to a Comic-Con last weekend and not take my pencil pouch, and it hurt my feelings so bad because I couldn't finish some drawings. I couldn't do the stuff that I wanted to do. Um, that was pretty frustrating. But it's always that you never have the right pencil or pen when you need it. Hey, we got a highlighter. Rock on. And I'll use my handy dandy. We're going to be reading Psalm 58. We just rolled a bunch of dice to see what we were reading, but Psalm 58, out of the Bible. So using my daughter's Snorlax pen she made me. All right, Psalm 58, as we rolled 8 d20s to get that. Psalm 58, the just judgment of the wicked, to the chief musician set to do not destroy, a Miktam of David. Do you indeed speak righteousness, you silent ones? Do you judge uprightly, you sons of men? No, in your work, no, in heart you work wickedness. You weigh out violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies. Their poison is like a poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf cobra that stops its ear, which will not lead to the voice of charmers, charming ever so skillfully. Break their teeth in their mouth, O God. That's just the roughest prayer to pray I've ever heard. Break their teeth in their mouth, O God. Um, Break their teeth in their mouth, O God. Break out the fangs of the young lions, O Lord. Let them flow away as waters which uh run continually. When he bends his bow, let his arrows be as if cut in pieces. Let them be like a snail which melts away as it goes, like a stubborn child of a woman that may not see the sun. Before your pots can feel the burning thorns, he shall take them away as a whirlwind, as soon as his living and burning wrath, as in his living and burning wrath. The righteous shall rejoice when he sees vengeance. Shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. Yeesh. So the men will say, surely there is reward for the righteous. Surely he is a God who judges the earth. So, what is my favorite game? I'm gonna go with that's a broad question. Probably Legend of Zelda as a whole. Um, yeah, I didn't expect this to be this one today, but that's okay. All right, let's see what we've got in terms of here. Main passage focus. I'll go with the judgment of the wicked, just because it literally says that. Who wrote it? David did, as it says there in the stuff. Who is it written to? Um, Technically, it was written to the chief musician, and it was set for other people to sing. For people to sing is the purpose. I don't know the answer of when this was actually written. Let's look that up. Psalm 58 would have been between 1030 and 110 BC. Passage location was Jerusalem. Uh, Symbolism present. It talked about wombs and serpents and lions and rivers, all used symbolically in those ways. Talked about bows. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Verses that stood out. Um, I would say verse 1. Do you intend to speak righteousness, you silent ones? Do you judge uprightly, you sons of men? Just because a lot of times, like, it's easy for people to think that if I just don't say anything, that's better than saying nothing. And, David's literally saying here, uh, y'all that are being quiet, do you plan to say the right thing, to stand up for the right thing? So it's a good question. Then also verse 6 is just rough, man, where it says, break their teeth in their mouth, O God, out the fangs of young lions, O Lord. Um, what can I learn from this? God takes righteousness seriously. He expects us to stand up for things. And let's see. How can I apply this? I think this is just one of those genuine questions of examine your heart and examine your motives. Heart, examine your motives, and examine your actions. Is anything hard to understand? Just the violence in general, honestly. Um, I get this is David time and war time and everything else, but still, it's a bit out of pocket in some ways. Um, Pop culture parallel that reflects this passage. Uh, I get vibes of like people who are seeing injustice and not doing anything about it, people who are just standing by and ignoring what's in front of them. Like so many different war movies or stories or where people are just kind of used to living with injustice. That can go to a bunch of different lines. Um, Memeable verse. Honestly, verse 6 is the break their teeth one is the and honestly it goes to in my first thought in my head is something from Shawshank Redemption, but it's not a meme I could ever actually post. What song would be the best soundtrack? There's a John Foreman song that talks about like away from me with your feasts. Let's see, hold on. Instead of a Show by John Foreman would definitely be the optimal soundtrack for this. Well, that's officially we've covered the entire Bible study section in this one journal, just doing these weekly shows. So I'm gonna have to come up with something extra for next week. Um, whether that's me breaking into another journal or what, but I need to fill out the rest of this journal before I do that. Um, yeah. So did that. Just updates on stuff coming up. I will be heading to Greenville, North Carolina today, for Greenville Comic Con. Um, it's tomorrow, but I'm gonna go set up today because they only let you set up during like lunchtime hours. Um, then I will have 2 weeks off, and I will be at um Soda City Comic Con in Columbia, South Carolina on the 23rd, I believe. Um, I am currently writing a Kuma chapter from One Piece, and on that note, I need to apologize. Um, I've made a post about a Kuma shirt that I was excited about that I'd found on like Sheen. Um, and there was an acronym on the shirt that said always carry a Bible or ACAB. And I was unaware that that acronym had been used in the past as an anti-police acronym. And I was informed of that yesterday. So I apologize if I offended with anyone with that. I have no idea. If you know me, I'm not exactly someone who's going to wear a shirt or something that's got, a negative meaning behind it. So my bad for that because I literally just liked the thing of saying always carry a Bible with Kuma. But just wanted to apologize for that if that was something that offended to anybody. Um, let's see, we need our goodbye verse and go over our Patreon stuff real quick. All right. Let's go to I think our Patreon folks real fast. Lance James, Zach Tuckweiler, Roshan John, Ryan Felton, Jessica Luttrell, who, which if you follow Cosplay for Christ, she did an amazing Sully cosplay recently. Jackie Crafts, Kelly Townsend, Alan Wallace, Fab Quack, Rivka and Tristan Birch, Dot Winston, Michelle Stewart, Miss Lynn Turner, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn. Scott Ward, I've got a devotional that he wrote for Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I'm going to try and get that posted ASAP. Um, Alicia Glenn, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Zach Harris, the Caleb Graham, Jeanette Skaggs, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlud of Adam Davis, and the Reynolds family. Thank you all for giving, sharing, donating, and doing all that you do to help make everything we do possible. I just posted the Artist Alley Aftermath for Kannapolis Microcon yesterday. So if you want to hear more about how our Charlotte show went last week, you can check that out. There'll be one for this show coming up soon. And we also just brought the pull list back with me and CJ. reviewing comics for Love Thy Nerd. So that's there. But thank y'all for loving, for supporting, for doing all you do. I'm about to head on over to urgent care and try and get a steroid shot for my ear infections and such, because life be life, and then I'm headed over to uh, Greenville for the con. I'll be back at my church on Sunday for the first time since the first week of July. We spent 3 weeks touring other churches, and then I did GalaxyCon, Geek Church, and then we did Church in the Park last week. So, uh, Kelly, I love you. I love your heart, dude. Um, if you're gonna be there Sunday, I can bring some stickers too. Uh, and but just to leave you with this verse, beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health just as your soul prospers. Thank y'all for taking the time to listen, and I hope to see you all at a con real soon. Bye, y'all.